They opted to take my car, since it would be quicker. I'd gone from having a beer in a dive bar to flying down the road at about 65. I'd never been farther from feeling drunk in my life, and the realization that I was about to head back into the hornet's nest was a sobering one. I pulled out my bag phone, the one I kept in my car for emergencies, and started trying to remember the numbers to important people. First came the police, but they were less helpful than expected. Cowacalla Sheriff's Department, how can I help you? Yes, hi. I'm a security guard at the Cowacalla Mall. There's a large group of people trying to break in. I need some officers to... But she cut me off. Wow, that's a new one. You're like the fourth one that's called in the last 20 minutes. The joke's wearing thin, kid. I stared at the handset as she hung up on me, shaking my head a little. I suppose I hadn't been the only person to call. Maybe some of the other tribal members had called to see if they could nip this one in the bud before it took root. Okay, the police weren't going to help. I needed to move on to my next resource. My hand shook as I dialed Phil's number. Phil would believe me. He had to. And as it rang and rang, I began to wonder if I'd caught him at a bad time. Maybe he already knew. Surely the mall didn't have a security system. The spirits would set it off, wouldn't they? I realized I knew very little about this situation, and that it might be handled even now. If they'd set off the security system, then the protesters could have scattered already. This could be over before it started. Maybe Phil was on the phone with the alarm company. When he picked up on the sixth ring, I wasn't sure whether I was relieved or not. Who the hell is calling at 10 o'clock at night? I got work in the mornings. This better be important. Mr. Garvis, get to the mall as quick as you can. Something's going on. Kid, what the hell are you doing calling me so? Sir, I need you to get to the mall. Protesters are breaking in and are going to get themselves hurt. I could hear him breathing heavily as he weighed what I was saying. And then he started to chuckle a little. Oh, that, yeah. Greg told me about that. It's just hearsay, kid. Nothing to worry about. Get some rest. We need you back at it tomorrow. They're breaking in right now, sir. I'm watching them do it. We both know that the vandalism isn't the worst part of this situation, and that 10 or so dead kids from the local tribe is going to look really bad on the news. The police seem to think I'm joking. I need help before these kids get hurt. Call Mr. Martin, call the sheriff, call the National Guard if you need to, but these kids are going to die if whatever it is that's in there gets a hold of them. That shut him up pretty quickly. I thought you didn't see anything last night. I lied. I didn't want to sound crazy when I started talking about Indians chasing me. Please, help me out here. I turned the wheel a little harder than I meant to, my car squealing as it took the curve on two wheels, and it took Mr. Garvis less than 10 seconds to make his decision. Don't go inside, and stop as many people as you can from going inside. I'll be on my way. Where's the break-in? I looked in the back seat, and Terry mouthed, food court. The food court. Gotcha. Sit tight. I'll have help there soon. Then he hung up, and I was left with nothing but me, Terry, Greg, and a big mess that we were on the way to. He's not gonna make it in time, Terry half whispered. Hell, we might not even make it in time. We have to try, I said, slowing down a little as we came into the home stretch. I didn't want to get pulled over by a cop who was only doing his job and have to explain why I was doing 65 in a 45-mile zone. Kid, Greg said, and it sounded like he'd been choosing his words for a while. You don't have to come in with us. Terry and I have skin in the game, but you don't have to throw yourself into the mix. If you want to wait for the cavalry to come, I understand, but I've got to try to help them, even if it gets me arrested when the police arrive. It's a little late for that, I said, cursing under my breath as I missed my turn and had to pull a Yui in the middle of the road. I'm in this now, like it or not, so you might as well get used to the idea. We drove in silence for a moment, me watching for cops as I goosed it up a little bit. "What makes the spirits come to the mall anyway?" I asked suddenly, glancing back at Terry. "Is it because it's a burial ground or something?" Terry blew out a breath. "It is, and it isn't. There's been a lot of bad energy around this site for a while. Hikers used to go missing in the area. Kids out looking for a place to smooch would get the bejesus scared out of them. People out for a late-night drive would say they saw spectral figures, but really it was Cleary that materialized them. He used some kind of old ritual, something he'd had from generations ago, and he brought the spirits in the painting to life. He intended for people to die. He meant for people to get hurt, and he got his wish." "How do we stop it then?" I asked, seeing the mall coming into sight. "We have to find the totem he used to..." Terry thought about how to put it and finally just shrugged. "Hold it all together, I suppose. How does it work? Maybe if I can find it, I can stop it before too many people get hurt." "Totem could be anything. But it'll be close to the mural. The totem's like a conduit. It helps make a connection between the earth, the spirits, and the medium, the mural. You'll need to interrupt that connection, and it should stop them from coming back. If we knew what it was, then we'd have gone in and done it by now." "Speak for yourself," Terry said, but flinched back as Greg fixed him with a withering look. "Mark is about to go face to face with our past, Terry. Are you saying you wouldn't have stopped that if you could?" Terry didn't say anything, but the message was pretty clear. I thought about it as we drove. "So, it definitely has to be close to the mural, right?" "Correct," Greg said, as we pulled around the Dillards and headed for the food court. The only thing near the mural was the food court and Mr. Martin's office. Mr. Martin had his office at the top of the mural, technically. If something like that was going to be somewhere, I supposed Mr. Martin's office was a good place to start. I had been all over the mall, and I hadn't seen anything like that anywhere. I started to ask, not really sure I wanted an answer. Could it be inside the mural? Like in the wall somewhere? "Could be," Greg said, "but I doubt it would be. The wall is thick, and the food court was one of the first places they built when the construction started. Unless Cleary was long gaming, I can't see it being in the wall." "He did give him that urn when he was done," Terry suddenly put in, and we both looked back at him like we'd forgotten he was there. "What urn?" Greg asked, craning back so we could look at him. "When he finished the mural, he handed Mr. Martin an urn, a hand-baked urn that his daughter or niece or something had made. He said he hoped it could be a bridge for healing between his people and the people of the town. But I remember that smile he gave when he gave it to him. It's a bridge all right, but not for healing. I bet you anything that's what you're looking for." "What do you think the odds are that he kept it in his office?" I asked as we rounded the corner and saw the doors to the food court. I never got my answer. The scene we wandered up on was pretty awful, and as I put it in park, we snapped to a halt, all of us just staring at it for a while. They'd pried the doors open with a crowbar, and then they had likely poured in and gotten to helling. The ones coming out now, however, didn't look like they had helling on their minds. They were cut, some of them bleeding freely, and they were scattered in a mass of jeans and t-shirts. We got out, a tire half on the sidewalk, and Greg reached out for one of them as he came running past. The kid couldn't be older than 17, and he had a cut on his cheek that was going to make a hell of a scar. Luckily, it appeared he was going to get to keep the eye, though. "Nathan," Greg said, shaking the boy a little until he turned to look at him. "What happened?" "I don't know, Uncle. We got in, and then we started breaking things. We were laughing and joking, and then all of a sudden, we were under attack. They looked like warriors, all deerskin and painted faces, and they just hit us. Some of us ran, some of us tried to fight, and some of us are dead. I ran. They felt wrong, Unc. They felt like they were made of bees. Poor kid was shaking all over. Greg let him go so he could run away. Last chance to bail out, kid, Greg said, but I was already heading for the door. I'd come too far to turn back now. Good evening, everyone. It's me, Dr. Plague. Thank you so much for joining us for tonight's show. If you think you might like a little more spooky in your life, then please feel free to click on one of the videos we have up here. Maybe look at one of the playlists if you're trying to get caught up. I know, there's so many videos on the channel. There's so many series that are going at the same time. Sometimes you just need a little refresher course, and I gotta say, I always enjoy the views. If you're not subscribed, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Maybe hit the bell so you don't miss anything. We upload a lot on this channel, so you won't want to miss a single story as they come out. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click on the Amazon link down there. There's quite a few books in my Amazon account. You can have a look, and if you'd like a signed copy, get up with me through email, and I'll be happy to work something out with you. Also, there's links to my Patreon, and you can become a member on the channel if you'd like your spooky a little bit early. Patrons and members on the $5 tier get their videos 12 hours early. That's in the morning as opposed to in the evening. Patrons at the $10 level also get a signed copy of my book anytime I write one. Speaking of my patrons, you should see them appearing right now. Just wanted to take a minute to say how much I appreciate all of you. Patrons, subscribers, however you give to the channel. I really appreciate everything you do, and it truly touches me that you have chosen to support the channel in this way. Well, that's enough for now. Till next time, Dr. Plague, signing off. Have a wonderful evening.